Well, good morning and welcome to our third annual Eggs and Excellence Business Breakfast. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying your favorite homemade or frozen waffle as we get to take a look back at 2020 and a look forward at 2021. My name is Jody and I'm the Executive Director here at the Springfield Dream Center. And I just want to say thank you so much for everything that we get to celebrate today. It is a return on the generosity of you, our business partners and community. This morning, I get to introduce to you one of our favorite business partners, Jennifer Henry from American National. They are our presenting sponsors this morning, and she's going to give us the welcome. Jennifer, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Well, welcome everyone to Springfield Dream Center's third annual Business Breakfast. We are so proud to support this event, and we're excited to hear about all the ways they have been serving families this past year and what they have planned for the coming year. The team here is truly amazing, and we're so happy to help them accomplish the great work they do for our community.
Thank you, Jennifer. We can't do this great work without American National and our other business sponsors. And so thank you for being here. And thank you to all of you joining us this morning. As we look at 2020 in review, let's be honest, it's a year that none of us are going to forget anytime soon. It's the year of COVID-19, the year of pivot and unprecedented being words that have now made my never use list. I don't know about you, but I would love to be done with those. But here's one of the things, as we look back on all the craziness that 2020 had for us, there was a lot to be celebrated. It gave us a season of creativity, this excuse where we could fail and try new things because everything was shifting and changing. And through that, we were able to find better ways to serve our families, ways to increase the resources we were giving out without increasing the budget that it took to perform those things. And honestly, a lot of that was possible because of our business sponsors and because of partnerships. I want to make sure you can see all the numbers and read through the stats and the stories. So you can find that on our website, springfielddreamcenter.com. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll find a spot where you can click annual review or annual report and be able to read through that. We think stats matter because stats represent stories and people. Those people represent the future because they're making work and decisions now that will take them to a new space. So a quick little glimpse of some of my favorite statistics you'll see in there is that in 2020, we served double when it came to our drive-through community dinner. We were performing a seated dinner before and serving 150 max. And really, that was about how many we could serve in this space on the floor at one time. So when we shifted to a drive-through dinner, our kitchen team, which is all volunteers, was able to figure out partnerships with Ozarks Food Harvest and creative menu planning to get our meals down to $1 per serving. We immediately saw more people in the community needing to access dinner as their lives and their jobs were changing with COVID-related things. So we went from 150 to 300 people being served weekly. Development and Becky introduced this idea of winner adopt a dinner, where for $300, a business, an individual, a family could sponsor dinner that night and know that all of their money was providing those meals for people that week. It was incredible to me to see that we were able to adjust and meet that need without it affecting the budget in a big way or long term. And so thank you for making that possible. You'll also see statistics in there about Dream Center Academy, our after-school program, about a new program we started called Neighbor to Neighbor and how many people were served through that. Neighbor to Neighbor was an answer to a need that we saw that COVID brought up. So a lot of the families we serve do not have a banking system attached to them yet, or they have not re-entered the banking system. So they don't have a debit card or a credit card. Like you and I may just say, hey, I'm gonna order Uber Eats if I can't get out, or I'll do grocery delivery. But for our families, that's not always the option. So when stay-at-home order first hit and we had families finding themselves quarantined or affected by COVID, they needed help getting the hygiene, cleaning, and food items to them. And so Neighbor to Neighbor was an idea that was born to be a response to that need. And we were able to pair volunteers that had time on their hands with families who needed supplies taken to them and make that connection. So that annual report will show you those numbers It'll also share with you all kinds of stories about DCA, about dinner, about virtual learning, which we stepped in and became a virtual learning center when schools first had to limit days, and all sorts of other things. And so I'd encourage you to take a few moments today and read through that and really see where 2020 was and the kind of impact we got to make because of you. One of the things that we wanted to do coming out of 2020 was to really celebrate you as our business partners. We could not have made it through the year without you, and we're so thankful for your continued generosity. And so we've created some excellent awards that we get to give out today, and I'm inviting Becky Phipps, our development director, in to tell you a little bit more about the award and who got them. So Bex, tell us who wins.
So we're super excited to announce our very first Business Volunteer of the Year, who happens to be live in studio with us this morning, Mr. Jake Tucker. Yay!
Jazz hands for
Jazz
Jake.
hands. So we are really excited to have Jake on board. He volunteers both with our kitchen team and Wednesday night crew. We get him, I feels like half of a day. And also just came on to help us with our operations team. I heard he makes a good spreadsheet.
It's like a robot spreadsheet, Becky. It thinks for itself. It updates automatically. There's like a summary page, he calls it, and it pulls all the data from the other pages. It's so smart. And then he goes, if it doesn't quite do what you want, we can change it. And I'm like, this is incredible. It is top notch.
So we are super excited, and I'm thankful for Jake and all that he's done. We also have our very first ever philanthropic business partner of the year, and the award goes to
American National.
We are so happy to have their partnership with us. They are also one of our yearly business sponsors. They sponsor events all throughout the year. They partner with us both in dollars donated and as well as people. We get lots of volunteers from American National, so we're very thankful for their support.
And that's part of their culture. They have a really neat culture at American National where their employees are encouraged to be involved in the community, and that is part of what builds and shapes the culture that they live in, which I think is really neat to allow their people to come and serve, and an easy pick for philanthropic business of the year.
Absolutely. But just jumping on top of that whole idea of group serves, we actually also have Business Volunteer Group of the Year, and that goes to ESC Inc. We are so excited to have these engineers right across the street from us. It's pretty handy in a pinch. Also, they're willing to always come by, lend a hand. They've done multiple projects this year. The one that they received the award for was the redoing of our DC Market, which houses our Neighbor to Neighbor program.
Yes, and it is a beautiful renovation, an old basement room with paneling, looked like it was out of the 1970s, and they have brightened it up, painted it, and it houses the market, it houses Neighbor to Neighbor, and it is just beautiful to see.
And on top, when we look at all of our partners, one of the biggest things that I think that help us is when we look at gift in kinds. So we want to honor our first ever gift in kind business partner of the year, and that goes to Luther and Stacy Piper with Piper Carpentry. We are so thankful for them. I guess we have our little hands,
our jazz hands.
And they also helped with that space as well as other projects throughout the year.
Yeah, they came to us in 2020 saying they really wanted to be able to partner in a way that we needed and to be able to share their expertise, which is what we find from our business partners. You guys are specialists in areas that oftentimes we can learn from or we can lean into. And so we joke that it's like the old cell phone commercial of who's in your top 5 that you can call for free, that Luther is in our top 5. Anything happens in this building, we call Luther and we say, is this the right approach? What do we do? So very thankful for all of our businesses and excited that we got to send awards out to a few of them for today. So thank you, Becky. Speaking of our business partners and things to celebrate, 2020 is not the year that you would have expected to land a bunch of new partnerships, right? Businesses are having to adapt. They're having to look at their own bottom line. And one of the things I've always loved about Springfield is that I feel like as a community, we look out for each other, not just for ourselves. And I think our new business sponsors of 2020 are proof of that. And so I want to welcome them to our crazy little crew. These are all businesses that said yes in 2020 for the first time. So LSC Wellness, Mirosky Inspections, Lower Health Center, Holdfast Brewing, Dale's Roofing, KPM, Christie's Creations, and Piccolo. And so a huge thank you to all of those businesses that jumped in this year to make sure, or last year, to make sure that it was possible. The other incredible thing to celebrate is we had several businesses level up. And what we consider leveling up is when a business increases their donation from the year prior by 50%, which is huge. And we have all of these businesses to celebrate that leveled up in 2020. And that's Academy of Hair Design, United Healthcare, Blue Current, Hale USA, Arctic Food Equipment, Old Missouri Bank, Oxen Capital Advisors, and Big Wood Cabins. And so as you're trying to decide some great businesses to do partnerships or business with in 2021, I would love to suggest any of our sponsors who have been with us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Here's where we're going. So while we want to celebrate where we've been in 2020, I always want to give you this inside look of where 2021 will take us. And honestly, I think in 2020, we spent a lot of our time assessing our programs, making sure that things were running and that the system was there. We spent a lot of time on those internal things of safety, of maximizing the impact we could make while minimizing risk. And we also really wanted it to be a year of discovery and learning. So what we're going to do in 2021 is it's time to grow some programs and to expand some areas. So we're going to finish the basement remodel. We're going to do some remediation to the building, to the older parts that need to happen so that we can expand programs like our partnership with Awaken 360 that gets families some counseling opportunities. We need to be able to expand DC Academy, our after-school program. So as we've been meeting with Springfield Public Schools, the need for safe after-school care and tutoring help is increasing on this side of what we're seeing the impact being on academic success because of COVID. So we need to be able to increase how many students we can take for the 2021-2022 school year, and we will do that by opening more classrooms. So one of the things we learned this last year is that our students are doing much better in smaller classroom settings. So instead of 12 to 14 students, we're finding that 8 to 10 is our sweet spot. That allows us to focus on the social and emotional skills, and it's allowing our students to be more successful. So one of our little buddies last semester was getting behavior reports every single week because he was finding himself feeling out of control and dysregulated. He was spending a lot of time with the same friends going from school to then at the Dream Center. So in January, we opened up a new classroom and we were able to pull him away from some of the people he was with all day long. We were able to give him less students in his classroom, which means more one-on-one time or more individualized attention from his teacher. And what we saw is from January to spring break, he only had one behavior report. And that's huge for our little buddy to feel like he's taking what he's learning socially and emotionally, and he's able to put it into practice. And so we know that those smaller class sizes make a big difference. So we've got some things we need to do licensing wise to get new parts of the building open so that Academy can expand. We also know that we're looking at classes that help our adults reach stability, and we need to be able to follow up and have those budgeting opportunities, parenting classes, to look at what are their main stressors from the last year, and then how do we equip them to continue moving through that. And so I know that many of you, not only are your businesses generous, but you as individuals and your families also choose generosity. Whether you are part of our Dream Builders, that's our monthly givers and kind of that base that keeps us going, or you like to donate on one-time opportunities. But I want to share with you, with 2021 in mind, here's what some of those numbers of your donation and contributions can equal. So $12 a month provides DC Academy for one student for a day. And so that's what it costs for them to come in and have a power snack, social and emotional lesson, time with a teacher, and time to play and be a kid. So for $12 a month, you can make that commitment to making sure that a kid has that support that they need. For $35 a month, you can supply everything that a family needs and requests through our Neighbor to Neighbor project. So that is cleaning items, hygiene items, and food items. So you know that your family can take care of another family every month by providing that $35 monthly gift. $50 a month provides personal development for all of our RISE participants. RISE is a class that we do in partnership with Northwest Project out of the Drew Lewis Foundation. They've launched us as our own community this year, which means we get to own this program from beginning to end, from recruitment to personal development to facilitating class and their maintenance. RISE stands for Reaching Independence Through Support and Education. So these families that are entering this class commit to 2 years, 16 weeks of intensive work on all stability factors of budgeting, accountability, health, resolving legal issues, like job and education training. And then they do a 1.5 years of maintenance with the goal of them being 200% above the poverty line. So as you can tell, it's a big class, a big commitment, and they all get personal development every single month to go over budget, to go over credit, to go over any of their SMART goals, and to make sure that they're on track to be successful. So $50 a month is what allows our team to provide that personal development and that management of that program for our families. And so you know that you're making a huge impact, not just in their lives now, but that is a program that for years to come shapes the way families are built and the way kids are raised. And so you're making a huge difference through that program. And then we still have Winner Adopted Dinner for 2021, and dates are already being claimed. And so it's a great way to celebrate that person who you don't know what to buy for them. It's a great way to honor your boss, to come together as employees and say, hey, we're going to do this. So whether it's your business, your family, or as individuals, you want to adopt a dinner, that's $300, and again, provides 300 meals for that week. So any of those just give you an idea of how your money is utilized when you join us and become a monthly donor. And all of that can be set up on our webpage. So if you're at springfielddreamcenter.com and you hit that donate button, it'll walk you through how to set up that monthly donor or that monthly donation. We're also happy to walk through that with you. So Becky at springfielddreamcenter.com, you can shoot her an email and she can give you a call and walk you through it and make sure that any of your questions are answered there. But I'm so excited for this year. To be honest with you, 2020, while it was a huge challenge, was also a lot of fun for us. And so now we get to take the lessons that we learned. We get to take the things that were different, that were like, man, let's keep that. So not everything goes back to what it was before COVID for us. We keep a lot of the lessons, a lot of the changes, because it's a better way to serve our families. And then we get to start adding in new, growing, and seeing what comes next. And so thank you for being a part of that journey with us and joining us in whatever way as both a business and an individual. We'd love to get into touch with you. So if we have not been able to see you in the last year because of life and COVID, then we would encourage you to come and take a tour. The easiest way to do that is to call our office, 720-1065, or email Becky or I. It's just Becky at springfielddreamcenter.com or Jody at springfielddreamcenter.com. And we would love to schedule a time to walk you around and show you in person the impact and the investment that you're making in our community. So thank you for keeping Help and Hope alive. We can't wait to celebrate with you what we're able to accomplish in 2021. See you later.